Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today, feedback video. Go through some of the comments, see what has been happening there in the comment section. A lot of activity on yesterday's video. I think the title of the video had something to do with it. It brought a lot of people out of the woodwork to comment. Of course, that is to be expected when you mention the word vaccine or vaccinations in the title. And wowee, there certainly was a debate happening in yesterday's video's comment section. I've said it before and I'll say it again, people are entitled to have their opinions. You can say whatever you want. You can try to spread whatever information you want on YouTube or any other type of social media, but please don't ask me to go along with some of the ideas or theories that you're putting out there. And I'm getting a little bit tired of people calling other people sheep or sheeple just because they haven't done the research on the topic. Now, a quick news update on what's going on here in Spain. This new strain of the virus, the new variant, has now been found in Andalusia. It was previously only found in Madrid. I think that was yesterday or the day before, but now in Andalusia it has popped up. I'm not going to call it the UK strain or the English strain, which is what the press are doing here. Some people in the comment section are saying that it comes from South Africa. A couple of other places around the world were also mentioned as to where this strain might have started, and a couple of other people have been quick to point out that it didn't start in the UK but was just detected there first because of the high quality scientists that they have in the UK. So I'm not going to associate it with any country or region. I'm just going to say that it is now present in Spain and has been detected in more than one autonomous community. I think Andalusia has said that they have detected 5 cases of this new strain and they're investigating another 4 people as well. Now, we saw yesterday that Spain has started its vaccination plan. We saw the images of the lady, the 96-year-old lady, Araceli, in Guadalajara, who was the first person to be injected with the vaccine yesterday, and various other nursing homes around the country also started yesterday to vaccinate their residents. From what I've read in the paper today, Araceli is doing well. She hasn't had any side effects from the vaccine, so good to see that she's feeling well and in good spirits. But there's been a bit of a setback today with regard to the vaccine. Apparently the shipment that was scheduled to arrive today has been delayed. Apparently there was some type of logistical problem, but the health minister has come out to say that it's only a 1-day delay and things will get back to normal tomorrow. The health minister has also said that this is the beginning of the end of the pandemic here in Spain, and he expects things to be back to normal here in Spain at the end of summer when 70% of the population is vaccinated. Now, there was a fair bit of feedback on yesterday's video about the PCR testing that's going on here in Spain for people that are coming into the country, whether these negative test results are being asked for or not. We saw a comment on yesterday's video from somebody who said that he had a few friends that had come in from the UK and they weren't asked for any type of test. Another comment seemed to be split 50-50 from people saying that they were asked to show a negative test result and other people saying that they weren't asked to show anything when they came into Spain. So obviously there is some type of control when you get to Spain at one of the major airports or seaports, but perhaps it's not as strict as it should be. Now, I saw a comment from somebody asking me where I live here in Madrid, and I saw somebody reply saying that I live in a posh neighborhood. I don't live in a posh neighborhood. It's a fairly stock standard neighborhood for the outskirts of Madrid. It's not a posh area. There's a lot more posh areas in Madrid than this one here. For example, if you go to Pozuelo and places like that, it's a lot more posh than this part of the world. I live in a place called Rivas-Vacía, Madrid, which is about 17 kilometers away from the center of Madrid. I would classify this area as fairly middle class. You don't see very many expensive cars around this area. You see a lot of Seat cars, Volkswagens, Toyotas, Nissans. You don't see a lot of the high-end cars in this particular part of the world. You have to go to the other side of Madrid to see that. You might see the odd Porsche Cayenne every now and again, but that's about as high-end as it gets in this part of the world. There are a lot of people living in houses in this area, and that's probably what gives people the impression that it's a posh area. But there's also a lot of people living in flats, and that's why I say it's fairly middle class. There's not a lot of fancy bars and restaurants in this area either. In fact, I don't think there are any fancy bars or restaurants. Maybe a few have popped up in recent times, but believe me, this is not a posh area. Now, there were a few comments about Spanish wine after yesterday's video. We saw that the Wine Spectator magazine has named a Spanish wine the best wine in the world. I think they gave it 96 points. And the wine in question was a 2010 vintage from the Rioja region up in the north of Spain. And it sells for about 115 euros, which is a little bit out of my price range. I'm a huge fan of wines here in Spain. I'm always looking to try a new type, a new variety. And one of my travel highlights in recent years was going to the Rioja region and to the city of Logroño, a fantastic place in the north of Spain, as I said, a great place place for food and a great place of wine. In fact, there's lots of different places around the country where you can find good wine. Recently, I went to the Bierzo region. I went to a city called Ponferrada. You can check that video out. I'll leave a link to it up here somewhere. That is also a fantastic wine region in Spain. So you don't necessarily have to go for wines from the more famous areas like Ribera del Duero or Rioja. You can get good wines from other parts of Spain. I normally operate on a fairly low budget when it comes to wine. I don't like to spend more than 10 euros a bottle. And for that price, 9, 10, 11 euros, you can get some really good wines in this country. So if you're also a fan of Spanish wine and you've got a nice drop that you can recommend, let us know in the comment section below. Now, I also had yesterday somebody compliment me on my Spanish pronunciation. I think there were a couple of comments there that I read out in Spanish. And feel free to leave comments in Spanish. You don't have to leave them in English if you don't feel comfortable writing in English. You can leave them in Spanish. I understand Spanish fairly well, so there's no problem to leave comments in Spanish. I know that the main language of the channel is English. That's just because I feel more comfortable speaking English than I do Spanish. And the majority of the viewers are English speakers, but don't let that put you off leaving comments in Spanish. So thank you for that compliment on my Spanish pronunciation. It is something that I have worked on hard over the years. I know that my accent is not Spanish, obviously, but I try to pronounce words as best I can. And I think it's important when you learn a foreign language that you work on things like pronunciation. I know it's not easy, but I think it's important to at least try. So I'll start to wrap the video up, and just one thing before I go, and this is directed at people who leave negative comments. Your comments would be a lot more valid if you didn't do them from an anonymous channel. Quite often I read a comment, I click on that person's profile, and there's nothing there, completely blank. Why don't you put up a video introducing yourself, telling us who you are, put out a little bit of content, let us know what you're about, and maybe people would take your comments seriously. It's just a suggestion. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.